elections billed for October the 12th. This year, so many of us have been talking about a consensual candidate. Many have been talking on the need for a coalition of opposition parties, but yet there is still no clear way out. Though we have information that the Douala Group, now the Union of Change, have designated Issa Chiroma Bakari as the consensual candidate, a decision that has been attacked by the National Union for Democracy and Progress, the NUDP party, which says that they do not recognize that position of a consensual candidate of the opposition. Also distancing themselves from that move was Honorable Nietzsche Jean-Michel, who says that Professor Kamto, who is the candidate for the APC party, is not part of that move. Also, we're going to be looking at how prepared candidates for the October polls are. Our guests with me this evening are going to be looking at what is happening, how they observe the political terrain in Cameroon, and make informed professional input to our discussion tonight. We are going to be discussing with Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, who is an educationist, a politician, and a social entrepreneur. Good evening, Dr. Nick. We're glad to have you.
Oh, thank you very much, Leo, and good evening to our listeners. This is a very exciting topic today, and you know that we've been talking politics for more than 2 years now, and for those of you who can still remember, I've been saying for a while now that it's not going to be business as usual with the politics, because there's more to it this time around than meets the eye. Thank you.
Barrister Akwen, member of Cameroon Bar, is here also. We know that she made her headlines with her advocacy for polygamy to be legalized or imposed on Cameroonians. She's going to be part of tonight's edition of Prime. Good evening, Barrister. We're glad to have you.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Good evening, our fellow viewers. Good evening to my very senior Emma.
Dr. Nick
Ngwanyam, it's my pleasure to be with you on this platform. I've been watching you all the time and enjoying you.
Thank you.
So I'm quite elated to be on the same panel with you, and for us to share our views with fellow Cameroonians, whom I know they are very, very enthusiastic now, waiting to listen. What is the lawyer and the doctor going to tell them in respect of the coalition Kwakamaya?
Okay. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, we have been talking on this platform on the need for an opposition coalition for over 2 years,
yes.
3 years. Yeah. You surprised that till now they still do not want to, they still want to work according to their will in this first round.
You see, I'm not very surprised that we are having these results we are having now, and even before we get lost, there is not going to be any consensual candidate. Write it down. It's not going to happen. And yeah, we'll argue, we'll talk, we'll points for, point against, look, turn things inside out and look at them, but keep in mind that there's not going to be any consensual candidate, and I'll tell you why. I am saying so. It didn't just occur to me. I didn't just wake up to it. It's for 2 years now I've been saying so. And it stems from the fact that, I had a deeper understanding of how states should run. And the problem of Cameroon as it stands now, the issue is not about removing Paul Biya. The issue is not about putting any other candidate. The issue is about
expectations of becoming the first man of the republic for some other person. So the coalition is something that, in as much as Cameroonians, we're craving for, and we have been praying and talking about the need for a coalition, is still just a far-fetched. But I think I prefer that let them take their separate course, and let's see where we are going to arrive.
Okay, understanding the deadlock, what are the main sticking points, Dr. Nick, preventing the opposition parties from agreeing on a single consensus candidate this far? And how significant are these differences for the future coalition?
First and foremost, if you have listened to the way Cameroonians talk, If you have listened to TV and radio debates for all these years and months, and then if you examine the mind of Cameroonians, you will see that we have a very shallow understanding of how things work. We have a very shallow understanding of what is important. We have a very shallow understanding of what problems are, and we have a very shallow understanding of how to solve problems. When you have this shallow base, then many things would not work for you, and that is where the problem is.
Okay.
And so, if you have listened to the people talk on radio, all they do on television, all they do is they talk hate politics, politician, but the politics does not lead us anywhere. So we just keep, commenting about this position, that position.
And you know that the human development, the human capacity,
issues.
the human capacity thing, it depends on sound education. And when it comes to sound education, I've said it before that our education has failed for the last 60 years. So when the education fails, the politics doesn't work, the economics doesn't work, and the development doesn't work because the human capacity is not good. So that is the thing. So our politicians should be talking, when you are talking politics, don't stay only on that one fan blade. You've got to understand economics, you've got to understand development, you have to understand education and know how all of these things work together. If you don't understand these things, you are going nowhere.
But that does not explain why our politicians have refused. The focus here, Doc.
Okay. Let me just explain. Let me just answer that one.
I think this is going to be addressed. What you are saying is supposed to be addressed by politicians who are presenting their manifestos on how they are going to fix Cameroon.
Yes.
But the issue is, Barrister, what are those sticking points? Why is it very difficult for them to come together, to agree to be led by one consensual candidate, given the stakes? It is very difficult to cover the 10 regions, the above 50 divisions, the 300 and something subdivisions, and the villages. Why do people still not think that they should come together and agree to be led by one person?
Yes, when Dr. William started with his opening remarks, he said there must be a change of mindset and a change of system. When we talk of mindset, we talk about what is mindset? The way you think, the way you talk, the way you perceive things, and the way you think of doing what you think and what you say. Now, when we look at why the coalition, why this dilemma, why this confusion, I am looking at it from, first of all, the egoistic nature of the political aspirants themselves. To me, they are so power drunk in such a way that they see themselves only on top of that seat and nothing else. I begin to doubt whether do they actually have the people at heart or they have themselves. In as much as we say politics is a game of interest, but before you put your interest, like Pa Chidachi usually said, crash my back, I crash your own. First of all, start to crash the back of the people that in return they crash their own back. But the way the aspirants are going, they are all about themselves and taking the top stage. Let me recall something. You remember the day we had meeting with Mr. Osi, and we asked him about this coalition stuff. He said he contacted Mr. Issa Chiroma. I'm quoting Mr. Osi. He contacted Mr. Issa Chiroma, and Mr. Issa Chiroma told him that, oh, Osi, you know that you are a young man and I am old. You come and ally behind me. Let me take the front seat. I will just go be there at the presidency for 5 years, and then I'll go because of my age, and then you take over. You see his mindset. His mindset is about the throne. He is not thinking of the times and the people that he is dealing with. He is not thinking of this age. What is this age? We are talking about an attention economy, or an attention, it's a media age. We are talking about an AI age. And then somebody who lived, and maybe if you give him a computer, he may not be able to operate it well because he didn't grow up in computer age, is telling you that they should give him the presidency. Then you go and see the other people who come to the scene like they are coming to test the waters. They are first of all not even prepared. Because explain to me why Caxon and Barrister Akere, who are coming from the same neighborhood, I call him the same neighborhood because what is the distance between Ngembu and Bengui Center? It's just about 10, it's less than 10 kilometers away. Why can't they put their heads together? You will see that one person is like a distractor, one person is like somebody who is bored. And if if you are bored and you are sent to go and do the work, you listen from the people who sent you. You don't take decisions by yourself alone. And then I'm also looking for this other young man like Iyodi. Iyodi, where is he coming from all of a sudden? Why is he not aligning with his Bassa brothers? I mean Cabral, Matumba. All of them are coming from the Bassa area. Why are they not aligning you? To me, I look at him as another distractor coming from there. And you see, a distractor must be coming from somewhere. He is not on the mission alone, and he must listen to those who sent him, and lo and behold, who knows who sent him? That is the big question. So when you talk now of change of system, we know all of us, Dr. William said he is CPDM just like I am. My father was CPDM. He was the subsection not subsection, the branch president of CPDM before his demise. And he left us, he told us that Pachirachi was his personal friend, so we should join CPDM, we should join CPDM. But when you look at the system put in place, before even you, a CPDM, gets to somewhere, you would have suffered in the system until. So if something is not changed in the system that is ruling now, it will be difficult even for the opposition to have this coalition, because in all of it they monitor, because they have to, they are protecting their own they are protecting themselves too in power. Let me see Minister Bello Buba. I don't see Mr. Bello Buba like somebody who wants to become the president of Cameroon in the next 7 years. I see him too like another distractor in the north. Simply because Chiruma resigned and then is concentrating with his party, he too said he has resigned. We have never seen his resignation letter. He has not been replaced like Chiruma has been replaced. So I see him more as a distractor. So how do you expect that him and Mr. Chiruma should come together and form a coalition, the Northern Coalition? You see that all of that, it is not possible. So we have political players than the real aspirants for the presidency. As for Madame Joya, she is just good to be the deputy for her non-division, because I don't see how she is just localized in that area. If she is the one to move to some other person to form a coalition, not another person to move to her, it will be very impossible. As for SDF, I'm not putting SDF in those. Any other person wants. If any other person wants a coalition, they should go and join SDF, because they have been in that game for 35 good years. And some people who came yesterday, they cannot say, oh, you come and join me. Where was Mr. Issa Chiruma when he started his National Alliance for Democracy and Progress? I remember that was the first name of his party. This name is another name that he just created. That was he was a member
of the NUDP party. They decided to join government while Bello was still president. He himself and Amadou Mustafa joined government. He was made Minister of Transport at the time. And when they left the NUDP to join government, they created the party you're talking about, ANDP.
Yes.
Yes, which he left and now is created the FSNC. But are we here facing issue of confusion of personal ambitions or mistrust among political leaders? Or does it reflect deeper structural weaknesses within the coalition?
It has something to do with the personalities of all these persons,
okay,
the kind of education they have had, where they are coming from, and the worldview that they have. You see, if you want to go far, you want to understand a lot of things, you have to study principles. And principles are natural laws. You can't break them. If you go against natural principles, that's your cup of tea. You know, you will pay the price. Let me explain. When it comes to what we call success, a lot of people go to school and get certificates and call that success. Well, it's success to a limited extent. You can have 10 PhDs to your name. That's only 25% of your success. Real success is 75% based on your character and attitude. Your character and attitude, how you interact with the rest of the world, the people around you, with the environment, how you interact with other human beings. That is what makes you a successful person. Are you a salesperson? Can you be trusted? You cannot trust him. I mean, you see, when he was a very powerful minister, you know what the kind of things he said about Anglophones and the Anglophone problem, and you don't know how many people lost their lives because of the things that he said.
You're campaigning against him.
No, I'm not campaigning against him. That's just his character. Am I the one who said that he should say the things when he was?
But people change.
But that's his. But that's he changed, but it's in the history book.
Change.
I know he now takes communion, but that's what he said, and people have suffered because of that, and so, you know. If you behave in that way, and of course he changed. You said he changed, but look at what he has done just in a very short while. You know, going behind the backs of the others to become this consensual candidate without any quorum that was met to do that. So trust is a real issue in life. You can buy a lot without money. You just need to have people to trust you. Trust is one of the most essential things in life, and when you add love to that, and of course you cannot have trust without truth. So truth and love, they go together, and you know, as long as you cannot find these elements in any of these 12 persons, forget it. It's not going to happen.
What's not going to happen? They are not.
There will be together. There is not. They are never going to come together because they have the phenomenon.
Where can we find perfect persons on this? Doctor?
See, there are no perfect persons.
Saintly persons.
No, there are no saintly persons on this earth. But you know, if you ask women, they will tell you where to find a good man, because you know, women always go through a lot of trouble to pick a good husband, and men too, of course. Picking a good wife is not easy. We are saying that, you know, when you are seeking to marry, you look for a woman who has 70% of the qualities that you are looking for, and then there are some qualities that you don't bargain those. You're not going to. It doesn't matter how beautiful a woman is and whatever, she could have all the certificates and all the money, but if she does not respect you, if she does not respect you as the man, it will not happen. So there are some key things like that, you know. So truth and love, respect, empathy, those are non-negotiable.
Yeah, are we also seeing this because the voters are very tribal in orientation? Everybody wants to throw their support on my brother. So nobody wants to disappoint the group he or she is representing through a political party. Barrister.
This is the ideology that the system already puts in place. Mm-hmm. If I remember very well, when President Biya raised the issue of rigor moralization, talked about against tribalism, nepotism, but along the way he abandoned, and then all of these vices flooded into the political scene, and then we started seeing now tribal politics. The Northerners, they want to take it again. The Anglophones now, we are saying now that it is our turn. It plays a lot in the scene. And I think that it is but fair that the Northerners have already had their share. The center, which covers the littoral, the east, the south, in fact I call it the middle belts, they have had their share. Then the Anglophones are like the one who have been left out, or who are now in the disadvantaged position. And I think that at this point in time, it is but fair that power equally goes to the West. And but if we continue with these tribalistic and regional tendencies, you see that the coalition again will become, in fact, like Dr. Ngoyam said, we should forget it. But should we really, even at this time, if it's possible, but should we really forget about it? And then you see what the Bamileke, because MRC, a Bamileke party. When SDF started, they say it was a Northwest party, later on it was an Anglophone party, but you discover that it later on spread its tentacles in the 10 region and have a regional coverage. But then when we see MRC, for instance, it is a Bamileke thing. It is more of a Bamileke thing. That is why
it's not a Bamileke thing.
It is as I change it to say again that if it's more. Let me learn.
Okay.
When you see after the last presidential election of 2018, who were those racing, striking and broken down embassies and in France, Belgium and so on? They were not Anglophones, they were not Bassa people. Majority of them were anyway, that is it. And then you see, that is why you say the coalition is a little bit difficult. And that is what, till today, okay, they still consider, they are waiting for Mr. Kamto to make a statement before they will decide where to vote. Who to vote. They're still waiting for Pa Kamto to make a statement. Now we don't even know whether Pa Kamto is he manning them or he is
He resigned from Manidem. He resigned from Manidem.
And then went back to MRC.
Yes.
I'm just to know, because
Yes,
I
yes.
can change my mind at any time depending on the... Yes, so it's good that we actually know where he belongs at this point in time. And then they are waiting for him. My driver, Mr. Leo Isebamilike, each time when we travel, we're talking politics, he said, no, on a tank, notre president, on doit faire. Why are they waiting for him to say something when he does, whether he is manning them or he is MRC? We don't know, but they are waiting for him to make that outburst. Whereas other parties are there and they are campaigning or lobbying for militants to rally behind them. So what do you say about about that kind of mindset and that kind of system that he has already put in place? Which means that even if he takes over today, it will that mindset will just still be there, because he has already created a system that now they believe in him and they are waiting on him to make a statement, as if people don't have minds of their own. If my leader today, if my leader today say, okay, I am not there, or this party something, there is some shake somewhere. Don't I have a mind on my own to decide where to go? Why should I be held in somebody's grip simply because, and I'm the one who choose him, to choose to follow him? Why should I be held in such a grip? And so you look at it as if, is this a political party, or is it a sacred call that you have to listen to the grandmaster? Because that is how some of them are operating their parties, as if it is a cult. That if the grandmaster says stand, you stand. Says sit, you sit. He says don't go to the toilet, you don't go to the toilet. So if their grandmaster, for instance, says that don't go and vote, okay, don't vote. Anybody thinks I am not a presidential aspirant, it means that they will not go. So what do you say? So you see some people who really want the coalition are frustrated by this move and by this system, by this mindset, and by the silence of Mr. Maurice Kamto. And I was listening to one TikToker, Gary Boy, the other day, who says if that SDF should go and meet Mr. Kamto if he wants to win. And I just laugh. I said, but why have we gotten to that? If he is not standing, why is he not giving up immediately so that he's free his militants from the prison that he seems to have held them or chained them? Why is it that? So this mindset change, the system change, the ideological change, and you don't put a political party, it's not a fraternity.
To speak and are keeping the wash water. I think that's the way it's expressed. So they are running after the small thing and have forgotten the big package, and so it's not going to happen. So coming back to what Barrister was saying a moment ago about Professor Kamto, I don't think he's going to support any of those other candidates. Even if he supports them, it's not going to be a loud bang. It will just be a gentle push. Why is it so? Because all these people who are supposed to vote for him and the MRC, he is still keeping them to use them during the parliamentary and council elections. And if we were to point to any of these other candidates, let's say for instance he points to the SDF, then these people, by virtue of the fact that they have voted for the SDF, they bleed themselves of that love a little bit, and they will find it very difficult to take them back. And so it's like you're asking him to cut off a hand and give away. So he's not going to do that for anything, except of course you promise him to be the vice president or something when you win. You know, you're asking him to pay a lot for very little. If I were in his place too, I would not do it, because you know, there's really nothing to it. Like I told all of us, there's very little to it. And before you trade out anything, you should be very careful. You know, like she was saying, I think when you look at all of them, I think it's just the SDF that is worth its salt to an extent. And where did the MRC come from? The MRC came out of the left ribs of the SDF, you know, with all the tension and so on. So already, the way the MRC came on board, you know, or with all the quarrels and tension, though they think alike, they you know, they are brothers and sisters. They are not going to forgive one another just so soon, and so it's so sad. And before I give you back the microphone, watch my lips. You can give these 11 opposition guys, give them 10 years, 10, to come out with a consensual candidate. None will come up. So whether we have 1 month or 10 years, it makes no difference.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu, and to Barrister and Doctor in the studio. I think all the 11 opposition parties are just being greedy, because if they actually wanted change, they would have aligned together. Example is Senegal, because during the last election, all they wanted is just a new president, no matter who was going to be there. But Cameroonians don't have that determination. Amungwa Valerie is writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Prof. Kamto will soon lose respect. Why has he been silent since his candidature was rejected? Was he really fighting for the people? Nkwa Jacob is writing from Bamenda. The opposition candidates are longing for the Unity Palace and not to take out Cameroonians from slumber. Honestly, the presidency is a place to be. Mr. Liu, I was lucky to be there 4 days ago, but not for political issues. Paradise on earth. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu. The most important thing is alliance, no two program. The number 3 is strategy, no coalition. Everything will collapse. Nkwan Jacob writing from Pomenda. Mr. Liu, good evening to you and the panel. Talking about a single candidate for the presidential election in Cameroon is just a dream. Madam Barrister has said it all. They are all egoistic and only the top job, not the change that the majority are clamoring for. There are, for Cameroonians of good faith, must start looking for the second option. Let the civil society leader consult and propose a choice. We who stand for change will vote that choice. Do you think this is also something worth doing? They say, okay, all of these guys are selfish. Can the civil society, the electorates themselves decide that, okay, since you have failed, this is the direction we want to go?
Of course. Of course. Democracy is government of the people. So they have a right to choose where they want to go within SDF. Now we see a person like Mr. Nincho, whether he formed his own party, whether he is with MRC, whether he is now with the civil society. You see, he's just playing some gimmicks and finding his way. That kind of man, you see somebody who is looking for his own position, and the rest of the people, he doesn't care. He cares about himself. You find the other people who are all this gymnastics, they know they will not go anywhere. They just want to remain relevant in the political scene and then be maybe the deputy of their constituency or the mayor within their own locality. They know they cannot come. Some people cannot live above their subdivision. They are not relevant anymore. Nobody knows them. But we are calling on the public. If the politicians cannot dish what you want, at least there are still some credible people. That's what I was saying last time, that I said, if Barrister Keremona, if not for his elitist kind of politics, he would have been a very good candidate, because at least he has grown. He was like groomed, yes, in a political arena. He called him a PK. A political kid, yes, because from the early days, from days of independence, that his father, they were fighting about the liberation of Cameroon, southern Cameroons, and so on. He grew inside there. At least he has a sense of politics, and as a lawyer, he has a political insight of Cameroon and the aspiration and the expectations of Cameroonians. But you see, some of them, like I said, they don't know where they come from. So let Cameroonians, they have a right to choose. You choose who you want to follow. You don't need anybody. Let somebody convince you with his ideas that he have and tell you how he is going to solve the problem. Not the problem. Not tell me, oh, there is bad road in Bonaberi. Tell me how they will do that road. Like they have been cut off now. I came on my car on Saturday and I could not go back with the car because I've been cut off from my base. Tell me how you will do that road that is sustainable for the next 10 years without needing engineers to go back and do the same road that was done just like less than 10 years ago. That is what Cameroon, that is what we want to do, and how practical it is, not some theories that finds no base.
Good evening, Mr. Liu. Since the opposition parties cannot agree to form a coalition, I consider them as detractors. Some of them are also thinking of parliamentary and council representations. It's just greed and selfishness. Mr. Liu, since our opposition leaders don't love us but love power, by not producing a consensus candidate. I think the civil society and the church should produce a candidate and inform Cameroonians to do so that those who seek change can follow. Ashu Mason is writing from Bomenda. Yes, more and more persons think that maybe the civil society and the church can scan through, because this is also a possibility. We saw the church involved in politics in DRC, Congo, before this Tshisekedi came to. But can the civil society here say, okay, we have given you time? Someone is writing that the people have been disappointed because they were told to register, hoping that a coalition was going to be the outcome, but today they are confused. Yep.
Yeah, when you talk about the civil society, it's also very exciting. I don't know much about what they do, but when you mention the church, I like to say that the church is irritating the people now, and people are angry. And then that's the first option. The second option would have been a good candidate coming from the opposition, just one consensual candidate facing President Paul Biya with all the nation and kicking him out of the seat. But you see that it cannot work. They are too weak, too greedy to make that happen. So what is the third option? The third option was born from the fact that after examining everything else, I said President Paul Biya is going to win whether we like it or not. So okay, President Paul Biya, you win, you have the power. Then what is it that Cameroonians want? Cameroonians actually want pragmatism. Pragmatism and their problems being solved. They want people with vision. They want a government with vision, a government that knows how to solve problems, not sing praises. I mean, many of these ministers and directors, they spend their time singing praises, and senators and so on, they sing praises. They think that what President Paul Biya wants is praises. President Paul Biya does not want your praises. President Paul Biya wants you to solve the problems of the people. That's what is important. Exactly. Not that's bullshit. He wants you to solve the people's problems. And if you actually love President Paul Biya, solve the problems for which he appointed you. So he's had and I understand the difficulties that President Paul Biya is going through, because as a business owner, I know what it takes. Even with just the few workers that I have, they're very difficult to manage. Then you think of someone managing the whole country, and it's just so unfortunate. And President Paul Biya, for some odd reason, he leads from the back and not from the front. And then when he puts prime ministers and ministers, they take advantage of him. They will say, oh, he didn't give us instructions. But when it comes to stealing the money, they don't ask for instructions. So you see, it's just so unfortunate. And in fact, I decided to support President Paul Biya with all my heart and all my might on the 31st of December 2013, when he made one of the best presidential speeches of all times. And he said that, Barrister, you remember when he talked about individualism and inertia?
Yeah, but that was 2013.
That was
we are how many years after?
That is the point.
We're
still suffering from the same
issues,
but
right?
Right?
Is he not seeing that things have not changed?
It's because he leads from the back. So now, and he puts people there to help. It is this government. So now he's going to win. That's President Paul Biya, and he will change that government and put people who can work with him and solve the problem. That is the third option, and it will happen.
Okay, that is the third option according to you. But when you look at the way things are going, judging by what it takes to win an election in Cameroon, Barrister, and people are poised, saying that we are going through this, knowing fully well that they may necessarily not win. They don't have the capacity to cover the 10 regions of this country. Some persons think that these guys may be sponsored. They are just working for their money. But others also think that this is an opportunity for some candidates to lobby for assistance to run campaigns, and some of this money may just end up in their pocket.
Money ending up in people's pocket, in Cameroonians' pockets, is it's like blood flowing in the vein. So we can't derogate from that truth. But I want Cameroonians, in as much as we complain, let us first of all be serious. The first question we should be asking is, did we register to vote in the first place? In as much as we may not believe in the ballot box anymore, the ballot box still remains that powerful place where if everybody unites effort to say there is a change that we want, it can only come through the ballot box. That is all I know for now. There is no other way you can have it other than in the ballot box. Have they registered? Question mark. Do they possess their voting cards? So before you even throw blame, ask yourself where you have taken your own responsibility. And so we're talking, let me just share a point where which Barrister Ngwanyam, which Dr. Ngwanyam was talking about, and like talking about the church to effect the change. Perhaps in the days when Pa Kardinal Tumi was still alive, may his soul rest in peace, it would have been possible, because at that time we actually admired him, and then everybody could see that he was a straight person who actually punched the nail where it was supposed to be. And after him, we are not seeing any person who is trying to put his feet into that shoes. Perhaps Bishop Kia is trying, but I think that civil society should step up. And the cardinal word that should be in the mouth of every Cameroonian is change. Whether we accept it or not, President Biya, I praised him, he has strived for 43 years. He cannot go and be beating ministers. He has beaten those that are supposed to be beaten. That is why, that was supposed to be beaten. That is why they are in Kundengi. But for now, even us who are parents, there comes a time where you can no longer, energy that you had in your 20s, in your 30s, when you just got married, you beat your children. There comes a time that you cannot be. There comes a time that you just sit and you're just looking at them. So, okay, do what you want to do. After all, my time will be up, and you people will face the consequences of the seeds of discord that you are sowing. And I think that that is the level that President Biya have been. Just looking at what they are doing and spoiling things and spoiling things. What do they want him to do at this time?
Yes, but this division, if this persists, it is true that many persons still believe that something can come out of it, and the Douala Group or the Union for Change has endorsed Issa Chiroma Bakari as the consensus candidate. Maybe other persons are going to join. If things persist the way they are, is this also a clear, can we say this gives a clear victory to the incumbent?
The Union for Change, do they have a political party? It is just a group of people that have failed in their own political ambitions, right? If you can remember. Because I see people like Jokem Chameni and some other names like that. They leave Littoral and they could go but to the north to go and choose, make a coalition there, or calling for him to hold the coalition. They have gone there to trade. It's a good move, but I call those people, those are they are transactional gentlemen. Yes, they have gone there to trade us. Okay, Mr. Issa, if you take it, okay, can take the Minister of Justice, can I take the Minister of Finance, and then if you do that is trade. I don't see them as some credible, it's a credible move, because if they wanted that kind of coalition, they would have gone to a party that has the potentials and possibilities, that has a national coverage, and have put in the logistics that can win the election. How can you, has Mr. Chiroma been to Bamenda? He says he will solve the Anglophone crisis. Let him go to, why can't he go to Njikwa? Let him pass and go to Njikwa now. Then we will know that he has been to the Northwest. Let him pass and go to Kumbu town and make his campaign there. When he stays there in the North, how does he intend to effect the change that is there? So what are those coalition or those civil society weak for change? What are they changing? No, let them answer us. What are they changing? By putting Mr. Chiroma, what have they done? Has Mr. Chiroma gone to Buea? I hear Pa Bello was there. Has Mr. Chiroma gone to Buea? Let him go to Munya.
Maybe he has plans of going there.
Then we will know that he can be a proper candidate to handle that coalition. Because let him go to Ndian.
But now, Doctor, you've read the moves of these political parties. Someone like Bello Maigari of the NUDP has already put forward his campaign plans. We know that on this day he's going to Meganga, the next day he's going to the east. He's going, in fact, he's starting in the, I'm sure, in the east region. His plan is already out. The campaign structure team is already out to say that coalition, I'm not interested. Yeah. And we have others. Is it already very clear that these persons are going, and should they go in this person?
From this other election, into the other coming elections, which would be the municipal and the council elections. That's all they're doing, though they don't tell anyone. And they are hoping that if they are nice, President Paul Biya can still give them something to eat. So, and of course, you know that there are about five or six of them in there who are actually not helping the opposition, but doing their best to help the CPDM to win. We don't want to be calling their names here. So those ones, they will not be part of any coalition anytime soon. And then I think Bello Buba is being very smart, just like many of them are, because you see, these political parties have regional bases. And so if you follow Parota's rule, the 80-20 rule, they concentrate 20%, no, they concentrate, yes, 20% of their efforts where they can make 20%, 80% of their gains. So he will sacrifice the Northwest, whatever you are saying, sacrifice those other places because they are going there, they wouldn't get very much. So he concentrates and makes his name and his power felt in a small area. You know, so that's what they would do. And this coalition thing was based on the fact that, yes, you have the strength here. John has the strength here. Peter has the strength over there. Bello has that. You know, concentrate where you are, but throw all that weight behind one person, and then we make the engine move. But when they refuse, then of course, yeah, the outcome is very clear. The next president is not coming anytime soon from the opposition.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Liu. I want to ask, please, I would like to ask Dr. Nick that many years back, he has been singing praises to Mr. Biya, changing the situation in Cameroon to date with no good results. Please, Doctor, your diamond solution has failed to stop what is happening. Lukong Ernest, watching from Betua, says, I think, like one bishop said, even a devil can manage Cameroon at this moment. No, the devil cannot manage Cameroon because the Bible tells us that the devil only came to steal, to destroy, and to kill. So until the devil actually takes over, before you know that maybe you will not even have the opportunity to peacefully write to us. Good evening, Mr. Leo. I'm listening to you people over there, and the lady on the panel is talking of the ballot box. How can you remove someone by the ballot box who himself didn't come in by the ballot box? Paul is writing from Limbe. Good evening, Mr. Leo, Barrister Quinn, and Dr. Ngwanyam say of now people are tired of the government in place and they need nothing new, a change. People just need either the civil society or the church to choose among the 11 egoistic opposition candidates, any one of them, and they will vote for him or her for change. Enomulu is writing from Bomenda. Good evening, Mr. Leo. Is Doctor campaigning for CPDM because I don't understand him? At times, I'm Atabong writing from Kumba. Dear Mr. Leo, ask Dr. Nick if he can go beyond the CPDM and liberate Cameroon. Cameroonians trust him a lot. I have never seen him as CPDM, though he thinks he is. Okay. This is, hi, I'm Pa Kite Augustine in Bamenda. The insurmountable challenge is to force, the regime yield to the verdict of the polls. Okay. Yes, Doctor, many persons are concerned about your trust in President Paul Biya when actually nothing is changing on the ground. Look at the nature of our roots in Douala.
Yeah,
I'm sure you visit Yaoundé regularly.
That's right. Thank you very much for taking notice of who I am and what I've been doing all these years and what I've been saying. I mean, I'm flattered. I'm so. Whether you are at SDF or CPDM, it doesn't matter. The most important thing is to make sure that you work according to principles, that you work in truth. Be the light of the earth. Be the salt of the earth. Do unto others as you have it done unto you. Put in place those principles. And this country will change by good Muslims and good Christians coming into politics and changing it. And you know, most of these politicians, when they never want people who speak the truth to enter politics. They, politics is a dirty game, it's not for you, blah, 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 blah. Because they want you to stay away so they can continue to steal. But so I come into the politics, though I wear the coat of a CPDM, but I'm not that kind of CPDM who goes singing and dancing and jumping and saying those stupid things. I speak the truth. I look for that thing and say, okay, we can take that CPDM, wash it with a little bit of Omo and eau de Javel and still use it. That is my position. I support President Paul Biya, and President Paul Biya knows me. He listens to me. There's a lot that I cannot tell you guys, and I can only swear that the country is changing.
It's changing, but changing how? In the spirit?
Anyway,
No.
change is change.
Change. You see, when we are talking about change, we should be very careful. You see, look at it this way. All of you are aware of these young boys who drive motorcycles, right? They just go phew, phew. When they want to dive between cars, they just go phew, phew. It's very easy. If you are driving a small car, you can't do that. Then if you are driving a 20-ton truck, you are more careful. Then 1 more hour of doing how do you, I don't know whether it's pilot or whatever you use when you are referring to a ship. So Cameroon is like a huge diesel ship. You don't just take that whole diesel ship and then twist it around as if you are on a motorcycle.
Okay.
And it takes long to change a mindset. For instance, when we are talking about change of mindset or change of education in a country, it takes 10 years to twist things around for people to move from a point A to point B.
So for 40 years, the ship is taking time.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I started correcting it not long ago.
yes. You understand with Dr. Nick that we need 40 years to get the ship change direction.
No, it has navigated in the same river for such a long time without, we don't even know where the ship is taking us to. I don't think that I tie issues with him on the limelight. And Mr. Leo, let me just do this refreshment. The other day I published on my TikTok page when the Northwest Ellis, they called for this fundraising gala to come and raise funds to go and do the campaign. And I come out with this outburst that said, why are we raising funds to go and do campaign? Why not raise the funds to do the needful, which will turn out to be the campaign? Because when you give people the basics, they will not complain. And tell them that this is what we have given. Vote us. Let us go back to our air-conditioned offices, and in return we give you good roads, we give you water, we give you electricity. And then when they say that they've had it already, you don't need to campaign again, because the same thing that they're crying for, they've already had it. And then you see people who was like, why did you say it? Where are you coming from? Why did you? And so on and so forth. And I am asking, I said, for how many years we have been telling the people the same thing? Why should our party be a party of lies? Why should we continue to be deceiving the people instead of doing the needful? I was putting that challenge to the politicians. I was putting that challenge to our elites. Me and Dr. Ngwanyam, we are elites of the Northwest. If they come that contribute money, let us start the Foncha Street Road. All of us lived in Foncha Street. Foncha Street had become so dilapidated. It's like an old town now. Old town is better. The former old town is even better now than Foncha Street. Let us start this road from Foncha Street, from Foncha Junction to Foncha. I think that would be a very lofty idea. You'll be doing it happily that when you go to Bamenda with your car, you cruise on an express road. So I don't know why our politicians, why they think that when they go and sit in air condition, they don't just have the mind of the common man is like that man that needs just salt and Maggi. What would they be doing with that money for campaign? To go and buy salt and Maggi to go and give to those mothers. It's not correct. We should have some conscience, we should have some love, like Dr. Ngwanyam is saying. We should love the people like we love ourselves, and if we want from them, we first of all give. The law of giving is the law is, in love you give, you don't receive, and when you give, then you receive in return. But first of all, give. First, give Cameroonians the basics. I'm just narrating of how I left my house on Saturday with my car. Until today, my car is outside. My car cannot return to my house because they have come. Look at the time that they're coming to give the road. But that road has been getting bad. That particular place, the potholes have been developing like 2 years ago, causing this huge traffic. One man told me he stayed in traffic for 11 good hours between Bikoko and the Chateau. 11 hours on Saturday.
Okay, the focus here has to do with the coalition. If you have one advice for these guys, what would you tell them?
Well, they have shown there's really nothing to tell them, because, you know, like in Gambia, using my crystal ball, I had seen that they will fail. and it's not like it's the first time I'm saying it. So to say that they are going nowhere is not new, and what they can do is to learn a little bit of what I was trying to describe. What is it that is important? You know, people are looking for problem solvers. They are not looking for storytellers, problem solvers. You know, develop the habit of solving problems, and hopefully when they would, you know, campaign and get positions as MPs and councillors and get some councils, they would actually effectively start learning how to solve problems. But if they are thinking that if they want me to give them advice so that they can succeed in the presidential election, this is not the time. You don't fatten your pig on the day of the market.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Liu and your panelists. I admire Dr. Nick Ngwanyam's honesty. Like he is saying, when I first saw him with a CPDM regalia sometimes back, in 2013, I knew the political route will be rocky for him in a greater part because of his principles and honesty. Ndi Eugene is watching us and writing from Yaoundé. He is the publisher of the Newswatch newspaper. Good evening to you, DP. Glad to note that you are watching the program, and special good evening to all of you guys watching us from Yaoundé. Yes, do you conclude that it is already too late for the opposition to come up with a consensus candidate, or you have some words of encouragement for them?
I don't think that it's too late.
Okay.
But if they want to form a consensus, in natural principles of life, you follow your big brother. Mm-hmm. The big brother, the small brother bows to the big brother and not the other way around. We are talking about the other 12 parties. We're not including a CPDM inside the coalition. We are talking about the others. The big brother amongst them is this SDF. If they want to form a coalition, I think that is the only candidate that they can align behind, because it has proven to us that it has what it takes to monitor your votes in the ballot box. First of all, it has already made its name. It has its name that nobody is quarreling with it. This other party, you can even go and forget the name of your party. You can go and forget the name of the face of your aspirant, because it may just be seeing him for the first time, and so on and so forth. But SDF and its logo has remained there for 33 years since they started. They are aspiring for the presidency. Change is still possible. Align behind the candidate that can actually effect that the change is possible, not a vague possibility. Okay.
I want us to briefly talk about election readiness. How prepared are the candidates for the October 12 polls? Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, yeah. You've read through the political parties and their activities so far. Let's look at clarity of our programs. Have the main candidates and their parties done enough to present clear, realistic and detailed policy proposals? Can one today say that I know what the UDC is offering to Cameroonians, the SDF and other parties?
You see, the first and foremost, yeah, like you are saying, you should have a document which says these are the problems, and this is how I'm going to solve the problems. It's very important. You know, that's your business plan, your marketing plan, or whatever. But most of these people are not used to selling positions. They are not used to advertisement or something like that, so they don't know how to actually diagnose the problem, the what, the why, and the how. What is the problem? Why do you have that problem, and how are you going to solve that problem? They will not give you. You know, some time ago I threatened them that 11 of them could come and we'll have a debate, and I will give them a thrashing. Because when you move them from this politician and move them and begin to talk about wealth creation, and begin to talk about development, and begin to talk about education, the things that really matter, they are washed out. You know, many of them, you know, with AI now, you can just go and say, give me a political program, just copy and come and paste. They are copying and pasting, but whatever they are telling you does not tie with their behavior, does not tie with what they have been saying. a good example, Issa Chiroma. You say, oh, I will solve the Anglophone problem. What changed in the meantime? Yesterday, the Anglophone, it was a no-go area. Today, oh, I'm the one to do it. No, you don't do that. You don't do that. Keep switching from left to right. That is what people are looking at. What are the problems? What were you telling us about this problem 5 years ago, 10 years ago? What did you actually do? How did you prove to us that when you were comfortable, you went out of your comfort zone to address these issues? No, you didn't do that. Then you turn around and then you start to pretend to say the chameleon has changed its color. No, it will change back. You cannot be trusted. It's all about trust. So yes, those programs are great, but I think, like Mr. Isumba was arguing this morning, I think the SDF is the only person that you can be trusted when it comes to those programs and some key issues. Otherwise, all the other ones, they flip-flop a lot. You know, when it comes to Buba Bello Maigari, he's saying he will give us special status. We already have special status and the damn thing is not working. He says he will give us special status. How can you trust a guy like that? You know, and then, of course, when it comes to Muna, he talks about his corruption, anti-corruption, and so on. He's a very limited, but if you were to take him onto economics and development and education, he wouldn't help you very much. So they're very limited, and that's why I say the SDF is the only one that is doing something that could be trusted.
Yes. Can you today just close your eye and say this is the direction this party is going to, beyond the party leaders? Take Cabral Libi, take Osi, can we today, in our sleep, project into what parties are offering?
As for CPDM, they are prepared 24/7, and they are prepared to win by hook or by crook. What it takes for them to win, they are prepared to do that to win. SDF, we have known them. Like I said, I will give credit to SDF for being steadfast and unwavering. When I listened to Mr. Joshua Osei, I didn't know that he was that smart. I didn't know what came out of his mind changed my perspective. The time you granted him that interview should be 2 weeks ago. And I admire him so much because he has simplified problem solving. He has simplified how he's going to solve the economic problem,
Dr.
the
Nick,
education problem.
Did something on that?
Yeah. I praised him for
Maybe,
it.
yes, he has made it so simple in such a way that for those who doubted him, because if you remember in our forum one time, I was like, no, he cannot handle the mantle of SDF because he doesn't have. I was looking at it from that energetic point of view, which the chairman, late Frundi, had. That he doesn't have it, but he has this kind of this poised mind, and that he in fact, I admire him for that. For Barrister Akere, like I said, corruption, but you know that if you solve the problem of corruption in Cameroon, you have solved half of the problem. And with his transparency and good governance, yes, but like Doctor said, when it comes to education, perhaps he will be limited. But you see, people work in synergy. He needs a good minister of education to handle the education policy. He needs this one. He needs in justice. He will be good at that. He needs, and that is what makes up the body for him to have a good it makes the presidency to function and the state to function well. But now, when you come to the fact that he doesn't have a base, he is still like the biblical axe that's floating on the river or on the sea, and it's a problem. He needs to work on that. If he had not, he should have been working on that since, but he's not doing anything. As for Expo Batumba or Cabral Libil, to me, he's just one spooky person. He's just, I don't even know what he stands for. Yes, he's just being spooky, and maybe he can entice the youths, you know, because in 2018, he actually succeeded in enticing the youths with his youthfulness. But was he hitting the nail? And even if he was hitting the nail, if it was not copy and paste, could he actually deliver? That is the question. So my skepticism. For the others, I don't even know their names. So Madam Ndamjoya, let him stay in his known and be their deputy. They appreciate him. Ignore that she cannot. I don't seem like somebody who can carry the nation, not because she is a woman, but because she has not. There's no track record of her political activities other than in the known. For the rest, for those who are coming, I call them they are just sponsored distractors in the scene.
We have had 7 years after the last presidential elections. I want us to look at engaging the population, the rural masses. Have we seen the candidates reaching out beyond the big cities, actually the rural communities, meeting youth, meeting women, marginalized groups across this time?
It's said that you should keep an eye on what I do, not what I say. And the blah 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 has been too much. People just talk, blah 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 blah, but they do nothing. And so people, when you do something, it sticks, and people can make reference to that, and they vote you based on the fact that, okay, this guy has been doing something, and we think if we gave him the power, he would do more. I keep saying, with the new government that will come in the third option, like choosing ministers, you don't just choose minister because you're a professor, you are a CPDM. No, they will choose minister based on what you have been doing for 10 years, for 20 years, for yourself, for the community, and so on. You have something to show. Not this. You see, if Biya's government has failed, it's because he picked me professors, picked this one, that one.
Titles,
zero titles. The government has failed. It's not about titles. It's about your capacity to solve problems. That's the next thing. So even the presidential candidates, if you take the presidential candidates, what capacity? Let's take Issa Chiroma, who had the Ministry of Youth, training youth.
vocational training.
Yeah. If we go to his north, where he has those youth, how many youths is he going to bring out to say, look, these are the youths that I trained from my area, and see?
And then maybe we'll start with President Biya himself. Maybe that is where we should start. Because he has been ruling by proxy. He has disappeared from the scene. I remember the last time I saw him was on TV on 20th May. So that is the first candidate we should start to question what he has done, or how visible the proxy to the people.
Beyond 20th May, he has. We've seen him receiving the French ambassador to Cameroon.
I'm talking about my own last day. Maybe that one I didn't watch, but that was the last day I saw him. But for SDF, I don't know much. Maybe there are different branches. They are cell, the branch, their subsection, the section, the works. Maybe they are doing
at least for
that
Joshua Osih, last year he did a national tour. He went around the 10 regions.
Not once, not twice. They've really done it.
Anyway, so but for the others, like I said, we don't even know their faces. I don't know their names. I can remember just the name of a few. Yes, I can remember Mr. Karem Muna because he's our senior colleague. He has been our bâtonnier. I can see Caxon. Caxon, I can remember Caxon is just because he and Barrister Kerry are coming from the same subdivision, and I'm wondering why the two of them cannot come together to bring out one candidate. For the rest, I don't know them. And that is a normal Cameroonian. Last time we were here, we heard that Teki Captain was in town. I'm asking, where does he pass a presidential aspirant? Because they could have been receiving him at Bikoko like Jesus. They gave him a triumphant entry like Jesus was entering Jerusalem. But now he just passed like any common man, and then came and was doing campaign, whether it was in somewhere in Daido or somewhere, something like that. So those are the questions we are posing, and we are not having the answers. Well, Ayoli, what is that? Ayoli? I don't. I saw him only on. I saw him last week sitting in this podium and was doing his own narratives. And then maybe we all know Mr. Chiroma, because he had been the Minister of Communication, and he was being who said there was no Anglophone problem. So him again, we are asking, you said there was no problem. How will you come down? You want to solve the problem that you initially said it doesn't exist. How would you come about it? That is the big question. But I've said, like I said, I'm giving them the challenge. Let them go to Mwa and do their campaign there. Let them go to Njikwa and do the campaign. Let them go to just even to Moyoka here. Let them go to Moyoka, Tombe. Let them go to all of those areas. Let them go to Manfe. Let them go there and do their campaign. Then we'll know that these are people who are serious. They want to rule the people. It is not a parliamentary election where you end with your constituency. It is the presidency.
Can I just add a little thing before you ask me the next question? You know, like when you started, you said we started with President Paul Biya because it's been nowhere. That's true. But this is the point. Bia is there, and he's the one who has the power now, and he's also a candidate, and he is for the CPDM. And we have 11 opposition guys here who are supposed to knock him off the seat. So it's the onus is on the 11, you know, to show that they have the capacity. But if you now want to copy and be like Bia, then you're not doing yourself any good.
No, he still have to do his campaign to show us that he is still fit
Campaign time is
and
coming.
proper to do the campaign, to rule the people for the next 7 years.
He's coming for
He
campaign.
has to
He'll be,
prove that.
Paul Bia is coming to Douala for campaign. So
Okay, we are waiting. I will be there. We are waiting.
Good.
Okay, we are looking at preparedness, how prepared these guys are. Let's look at campaign financing and transparency. Do we know how much they have as budget for campaigns to tour 10 regions, divisions, subdivisions, to run machines across Cameroon for 2 weeks non-stop, to man the different radio stations and TV stations? Is there transparency in that? Do we know what they have, and do they even have what it takes to go through?
No, it's a lot of money. It takes a lot of money, and from that perspective already, except that they have some big business people that are supporting them and going to give them the funds, but with their chicken feet, they're not going to make that happen. It's a very expensive exercise. I think the government is going to give them a little token for going around, but that cannot take them 2-3 days, so that's something else, and that should have been a motivation for them to throw their weight, you know, behind one person. Might be they're going to do it in a way that they wait for the funds to come, so that they'll all have the money in their hands. Then they now say, okay, we all vote but for this person, and then they put the money together. Because I'm afraid probably they don't want to come out with that single candidate now, because the government will probably withhold the other funds that they would have tried to put together.
Okay.
I'm just guessing.
Good evening, Mr. Leo. Dr. Nick has given me a good laugh tonight. He says Cabral is a good talker. He is the type of a person who can talk to a woman, and the woman will go home and not be able to sleep. I'm still on the floor, my ribs. Okay. Good evening. That is Ta Elvis, one of our colleagues watching us from Boya. Good evening to you, bro. Yes. Transparency in finances. Is there need for the people to know how much you have, to know whether you have what it takes to go through these campaigns?
I will not say yes, we need to know what you have, or no, we don't need to know what you have. What they need is to see their aspirant coming to them and talking to them. But I think that the case of Cameroon, there is no money. Politics is not being, I don't see Cameroon as a country that politics is being funded. The only party that has money for fundings that reaches within its ranks is the CPDM. For the opposition, they will really have to work hard to use other means to get their campaigns through. Maybe they have to meet TikTokers and just do a lobby for them to please their manifesto, or to announce their manifesto in their different forums. Maybe they'll have to be doing door to door. Maybe they just go to different churches on Sunday, and then after that, they can ask the pastor to give them a forum to talk to the people. Because I can remember in the days of Pafrundi, we sat in our church one day, and we just saw him just before offering. He came to church, and thereafter we were very happy to see him. The pastor was glad to see him, and thereafter he said what he wanted to say, which was a campaign in some way, and that is it. And that is what I'm enjoying those other ones to emulate. They don't just sit in their confines or their comforts and then think that people will just believe in them. How many people do have TV? Do we even have electricity that could boost the images? That is the question. So they have to do it at that grassroots level, by meeting the people one way or the other. You can take every Sunday, you go to like 3 or 4 churches. It is very possible. Just go in the morning and then go. Just the fact that you go and give your offering, they used to go around that Mr. Osi was in church today, or this Abarista Kere was in our church today. You go to the next one. You just go and sit, and then when they say, oh, who are those who are visiting the church today, you stand, they see you. After that, you leave. That is campaign without speech and campaign without spending. The only thing you need there is fuel. and so on and so forth. Just pass through the marketplace, maybe buy a basin of gari and then share some 2 bags of salt and say, when I share this one, it's campaign. Campaign does not only mean that you gather a group and then you go and run the... I have cough, please, sorry.
Okay. Let's get to Dr. Nick. We're talking about preparedness, readiness for these elections. Let's talk about manpower. What it takes to run campaigns in Cameroon. Do you see these parties having the manpower enough to engage in mobilizing on the field, to man radio and TV stations and doing the work?
No, that is again. It takes us to the, to the importance, to understand again the importance of choosing a consensual candidate.
Yeah.
Because by that you mean that you are bringing together all your financial resources, human resources, vehicles, and whatever, and you are working together as one team. Then you share the nation into blocks. So much so that, Cabral Libi and Matumba will be going towards the Bassa land and then straightening down to Kribi and then concentrating their efforts with the little they have there. Chiroma and the other guy will be doing the same thing in the north. And then the Bamilikes will be doing their own thing, and the SDF will be doing her own thing, and all the resources will enter into one bank, so to speak. It's because you bring together all these resources. But when they want to cover the national territory, each from their own pocket, with human resources and what have you, is not going to work. It's a huge challenge, and I think that's where the joke begins.
That's where the joke begins. But do you think they actually sat down to count the cost, human, financial resources, before even delving into this venture?
They are a little bit blinded about the, they have not even thought about that. What blinds them more than anything else is the desire to be the president and receive honors and so on. That's what they are seeing, that glory. Mm-hmm. But they fail to count the cost. How do I get there? And each of them is thinking, okay, but what if if it's like a lottery, if I happen to be chosen and to be that big person, then all these people will bring all those resources and push me so that I am that big man. That's all that is they have in their minds, that glory of being the president. But they are not counting the cost. They are not looking at the process, and it's just going to be a sham.
Okay, you say it's going to be a sham. Good evening. Hello, Mr. Liu. I'm very interested in this program, but what worries me a lot is that this country will never change until the day the Christ will come back to us. The truth is that the government of our nation has no regard to the citizens. They only think about themselves, and only God alone will be the best candidate. I'm Ta Rene, watching you live from Oku. That's in Bui Division. Good evening to you, Ta Rene, writing us from Oku. Good evening, Mr. Leo. And the oppositions are there for their selfish interest and not for Cameroonians. That is why they are facing a lot of difficulties to coalesce. Anago Minette is writing from Bamenda. Good evening, Mr. Leo. And greetings to the panelists, especially to Mommy Barrister. Mommy Barrister, you too much with your analysis. You keep saying nothing but the truth. My question to Mommy is, at this juncture, which candidate is her choice? Because her choice is definitely my choice. More wisdom for your wisdom, Mom, Barrister, and Doctor. Terence is following us from Yaoundé. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm Justus from Boya. Yeah, Mr. Joshua C has finalized so many things, but when it comes to the issue of federation, is he going to impose it to Cameroonians, or is it going to pass through a referendum? And what if it passes through a referendum and Cameroonians still vote against? What will be his next move? Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Liu. Dr. Nick has given, okay, I read that one already. Good evening to you all. Just to appreciate your endeavors for educating the society, and that the regime is the cause of this division. Divide and rule principles, let God take control. My sincere gratitude to Madam Barrister for honesty. Thanks, Bro Henry. Is writing from Bamenda. Good evening. We do not have other political parties. All the other parties are CPDM and Nexus. Don is writing from Belo. Good evening, Mr. Liu. I'm innocent from Muya. Tell Dr. Nick I used to admire him a lot because he speaks a lot of sense. Okay. Now, the issue is I wonder why he's supporting President Paul Biya. Okay. This one says, I support the Barrister example. Please ask doctor if he can drive successfully to their compound. As he says, Cameroon is changing. Just before Dr. Foncha's house, you can't drive with gear 2 around that place except you are being chased by Amber or military. We should all know that CPDM will win. They are alone in the northwest and southwest. Center and littoral is the battlefield for all the political parties. Bernard is writing from Foncha Street. A tricky one for the northwest and southwest regions. I don't know whether you've seen the campaign of the campaign trail for the NUDP party of Bello Buba Maigari. The 2 weeks program, the northwest and southwest does not really feature. If I can see it, I will read it out for our audience to see the campaign of Bello Buba Maigari. It states that Thursday, September 18, he's going to have a meeting in Kusiri, and then Saturday, 27 September, he has a meeting in Yaoundé. Sunday, 28, he has a meeting in Douala. Monday, the 29th, he has a meeting in Ebolova. Wednesday, the 1st of October, he's going to have a meeting at the Garoua Airport. Thursday, the 2nd, meeting in Gide. Friday, meeting in Kaile. Saturday, meeting to win the elections.
Yeah, he's focusing because he knows that if he does his best, he will be the second position.
So the intention is not to win.
No, none of them is going to win.
Okay.
Like somebody said that some of those political parties are annexed. I see him as an annex. He's one of those annexes.
Yes.
That is why he cannot go to those other places, because what he is trying to do is to divide what, first of all, his brother Chiruma may get in the north. Then he comes now, he meets the other northerners who are in the littoral. He divides again. He's just moving about. To me, he's just dividing, reducing the votes that his brother Chiruma would have had, thereby reducing votes for the other candidates
and helping the CPDM.
And he is already inside. He is a CPDM. That the party is just a title. It's just a title. It's just a title that he owns a political party. He is just inside and just. That is why he is even in the system in the first place. He's just there just to divide, just to keep the north out of whoever wants to support, so that anybody who is going to the north, the votes are already divided into 3 portions. Whereas if there was just Chiruma, it would be divided into 2, the CPDM and him, and then SDF and those, because SDF also have some places in the north. So he's just doing a divide. Like I say, it's one of those annexes. Okay, now if he says he's going to solve the problem in the northwest, in the southwest, how come he's not going there to say, okay, you people vote for me? He just counted them out already that nobody will vote him.
Right?
When?
For the campaigns, he was in Bamenda last week. He went to Boya and then went to Bamenda.
He went there.
Yeah.
We went there.
Okay, to go and stroll.
Yes.
Maybe to go and stroll, but not for his road map, northwest, southwest. They are not there. So can we really count on that kind of candidates who wants to be my problem is that they want to be the president of the Republic of Cameroon. A national, it's a national thing. When you come to a national thing, you don't do divide. You don't have to give credibility or credence to these people and against those other people. You show consent for everybody. In fact, Northwest and Southwest should have been his stronghold to show the solidarity, to show that he is actually ready to solve the problem and that they are part of the national territory. By doing that, he's just telling us that these people have been cut like with that they are like out of the map of Cameroon. That is the attitude that I am seeing from Mr. Bello Buba. We're still waiting for the others.
Okay, we're waiting for the others.
And even the West, it means that he has given up in the West. He doesn't trust. And you know, the West is that the economic stronghold. Any person who is coming to power as the president must know how to manage the Bamili case. Because till today, they are still, even though the Northwesterners are coming up with in the area of with the economic potentials, the West has already been there. We are now like the apprentices that will take over the business in the nearest future. But you must know how to handle them with care. If it's a politically strategic region in Cameroon, and that is why you see that when the head of state is appointing governors, those that he puts in the West, they are always carefully selected.
Okay, they are carefully selected.
Yes.
Because, okay, it is also the region that also hosts the Bamili case and the Bamoons, two very important peoples in Cameroon. Dr. Nick Ngwanyam, that we saw Frunzi in his days. He moved not just the cities of our country. He did not just move from Yaoundé to Bafoussam. He moved from village to village. In a day, Frunzi would visit 3 or 5, 4 villages in a day.
In a day, in Frunzi's days, because I was part of the SDF, so I know this very well. In Frunzi's days, don't forget there were not this many number of parties, so many parties. Is that how you say it in English? You know, now we have 370, but I think in those days they were not. They should have been just 20 or 40. I don't know.
Yeah, but we are talking about the capacity to move. Even if we have 300, let us see this 300 moving to.
Yes.
Let the people, like she says, that they were in church and from nowhere he appears.
But there was that charismatic thing about Frunzi that none of these fellows has. I mean, he alone had it, and all the others don't have. And how did he get it? Number one, he had this capacity to express himself, and then, you know, in the language that the people understood, and his body language too was out there. He could challenge the status quo. And don't forget, it was a monologue until he came on stage, and he was the first to actually push the boundaries and says it cannot be the same. This is how it's supposed to be done. So ever since he opened the doors, every Tom, Dick, and Harry can talk. So that charisma, even if it doesn't matter, you can talk now even as much as Cabral Libi or whoever. You can say whatever you want. You cannot get that charisma because Frunzi said it at the right time.
The context.
Yes, that context. So if you are saying it now, it's a deja vu. It's a film that has been played, and then you are barely reading from an old script. So Frunzi has something that none of them got.
Okay, yet what none of them got. So we are going to be drawing the curtains for tonight's edition of the program at this juncture. One last word from you, Barrister.
I just want to say that for the coalition stuff that we have been talking about, again, it's not too late, even though we know that the coalition ideological differences is playing a major role in it all and selfish interests. But I think that those who have the interests of Cameroonians at heart, they should go and align behind a party that has the potentials of winning. And the Cameroonians should still stay positive for the change that we want. Change is possible, just depending if we unite an effort and say the word now is called change. It will change because they say with God all things are possible, and when you are willing, it is possible. When you believe that change can come, it will come. But if you are negative that change can never come, then know that it will never come. And then we need to take that move by going to the voting polls to vote. Okay,
Dr. Nick.
Yeah, like you were saying, I've been talking about change coming to Cameroon, starting from the CPDM, and for a very long time now, and people kind of like lost hope. The time is now. This is the season, and that change that you've been waiting for is on the way. It's coming, you know. And after these elections, like I said, the opposition is doing its best, but they're not going to win. President Paul Biya is going to win, and for many reasons, and then he's going to put in place the kind of government that the people have been looking for the last 43 years and not having. So this government that is coming will be a government of technocrats and entrepreneurs doing things differently, and SDOs, DOs,
We have
governors will
ministers.
be-
We have ministers of state. Are you going to flush them out
No,
from the system?
Minister of State is just one of those things.
They're
you
going
just
to
do it.
stay there.
No. Don't worry. When the time comes, you'll see. The SDOs and governors will be elected from amongst the people in their community. You will not be picked from someone appointed to go and be
Okay, thank
threatening
you, thank
people
you,
elsewhere.
thank you very much, Dr. Nick, for coming, and to you, Barrister Aquin,
My
for
pleasure.
accepting to be part of tonight's edition of the program. Thank you to the production team and to all of you for watching. Stay blessed. Bye bye.